I'm AniMajor. Since Cassidy made a cake, I decided I was going to do some origami. So here's how to make a modular isohedron out of paper. This is going to take a little while, so it's going to be a couple parts. So here's the first part, the making of the triangles and the folding. Alright, before we start you're going to need a couple of things because we're making triangular paper instead of square paper. You're going to need at least 10 sheets of colored paper, 8.5 by 11, a sheet of white 8.5 by 11, an X-Acto knife with a very sharp blade, so change your blade before doing this, a metal ruler, preferably more than 12 inches. Don't use plastic because you'll just shave the edges off of the plastic one when you use your X-Acto knife. You're going to need a cutting mat or a bunch of newspapers so you don't damage your table, paper clips, binder clips, or a stapler. Okay. Okay, you take your white sheet of paper and fold it in half lengthwise. Okay, now take this corner up here, line it up with the center line we just folded, and fold this point up here in half. Okay, now take this edge right here and line it up against the fold we just made, making sure that it folds up at the top here. Alright, now we have an equilateral triangle. You can stop here if you want a bigger model. In order to cut this out, it will require 60 sheets of paper instead of just 10. But if you only want to use 10 or you want a smaller model, then we continue on to make 6 equilateral triangles. The next fold you do is this fold has to line up with this fold right here. And this fold right here lines up against our center line, like this. Okay, and the next one, this edge right here lines up against this edge, and this crease right here lines up against this crease up here. Okay, now you've got 6 equilateral triangles, here, 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 and here. And you've got 2 extra spaces that we won't be using. So what you do is you take your colored paper, line it up with the 2 points here, the 2 lines that come to the corners at the very top here, because sometimes the colored paper and the white paper are slightly different sizes, and so this is your lineup point. Then you either staple it or clip it at the junk parts here. Don't staple on any of the triangles because obviously you'll have holes in your triangles then. Okay, now it's time to cut out our triangles. Take your X-Acto knife and line your ruler up against one of the lines. The important part here is that you don't want to cut all the way through You don't want to cut just straight like this, because then you'll lose the grip the staples have. So you line it up, and you start from the center line to make a cut here. We cut here, and you got one triangle. You go and you make a cut here. Make a cut here. Get another triangle. I'm going to make a cut down the center line. Another triangle. Now this gets tricky because obviously you're cutting apart your staple parts here. So we cut here. Cut here. Triangle. And then our final piece. We cut here. Now, when you're cutting through 10 sheets of paper stapled together, you might have to do it in 2 tries with 5 sheets each. The important thing is to press hard, but don't press so hard that you sprain your finger trying to do it. But when you're done, you'll have 6 color triangles and 6 white triangles. And now we move on to the folding.